welcome to the Lululoves Crochet Podcast, episode 34. My name is Emma, and this is my podcast all about crochet and crafts, books, TV, and all the other things I love. You can find me at lululoves.co.uk. I will put the link below to the show notes for this episode, so anything I mention will be linked over in the notes on my blog. I think that's everything. I hope you're all well. We are back in lockdown over here in the UK, but the children are still at school. The only difference is I can't see my eldest. She's at uni, so she's quarantining. Actually, she's with her boyfriend at the moment, so they're staying together. So I won't be able to see her. She was due to come home for a week at the beginning of November. But obviously she hasn't been able to, so hopefully she'll be back in December. What else? I'm still going into work in the library. Actually, they're running a very sort of streamlined service, like a click and collect service. So I'm still doing that. So not much has changed for us really, apart from the fact that we can't see any of our friends or family. But yes, day to day, much the same. What have I been up to? This whole episode, I feel, will be about the Granny Square. So I apologise in advance. That's just the way it's gone this year, this week, or this month even, this whole year. It has been what I felt like making. I had a project to finish. I have another project that has been long overdue in starting, and now I'm on a bit of a deadline for it, so I'll show you that. But first of all, I'll share some book news with you. So the book, Romantic Crochet, if you've not heard me talk about it before, is due to be released this month in the UK and December in the United States. My copies of the book, so as part of my contract, I get sent a number of copies, and my samples had been held up in customs. So we organised a book tour, an online book tour obviously, will take place between the 14th or 15th of November for a month, and there are lots of bloggers and Instagrammers and lovely makers who have supported me that will be joining me to celebrate the launch of the book. Anyway, they all got sent a copy of the book directly from the publisher. So I have seen lots of pictures of the book, but as of today, I had not seen the book. So yes, I was quite frustrated, as you can imagine, to see lots of people getting their books, and mine had not arrived. Mine have been held up in customs. I've spoken to the customs now, and hopefully they'll be on the way. But Tuba did send me out another copy, and that arrived today. So here it is. Oh, sorry, the light's a bit funny today. So it's finally here. So what I will do is I'm going to film a video. I did put a sort of poll out on Instagram to see what sort of information people would be interested in, and I had lots of comments back, about the creative process, how I got started, the planning, how long it took. So if you've got any questions about the book writing process, I am by no means an expert, but I now have written a book. I certainly have learnt a lot from this, and there are a lot of things I would do differently were I to do it again. So but I'm going to do a video, I think a separate video, talking about the process and showing you some of the projects, and I can't wait to share them with you. They've been sat here for over a year now, waiting to be loved. So I will film that. So if you've got any other questions you would like me to answer in that video, pop them in the comments below. The other thing I will say is I know that a lot of you had pre-ordered the book on Amazon from the UK, and it it said it was due out on the 7th of November, and now it's saying it's currently unavailable. That's because there's been some distribution delays because of the virus. It's something that actually kept me up at night, because you know, I have been worried about it, but I have been assured that they are working really hard to get that available. I know the books have been printed. I know they're on their way. It's just, you know, when they get where they need to go. So if you have pre-ordered the book, please don't worry. You know, it will be with you as soon as it's available, and it shouldn't be too long, hopefully, fingers crossed. I mean, I think we're talking weeks. So you know, my hope is that it will still be released as a November title. It is on the way. That's all I can say, and I will share news the minute you can purchase it on Amazon, here, on my Instagram, you know, everywhere. So please don't worry if you've got it on pre-order. It will be with you as soon as it's ready. And like I said, they've all been printed. They're all ready to go. So it's just a case of getting them where they need to be. So there we have it. But I'll talk more about that in a separate video for those of you that aren't interested in that. So I've taken notes as well, so I don't miss anything off. So yes, the book tour, if you want to follow along with the book tour, that will be taking place from the 15th of November over on my Instagram. And I will be sharing everyone's posts. There are lots of people that will be making projects from the book and sharing them on their Instagrams and their blogs. So I will do a blog post about that as well. Okay, so the first item, Granny Square item, is a tiny blanket, and this is a blanket for my dog Teddy the pug. And I was inspired by I have a habit of, when I'm feeling anxious or I can't cope with any sort of external stimulation, I just like to rewatch comforting TV. So for me, that would be something like Poldark, Agatha Christie, anything Agatha Christie. I can just pop on. I feel very comforted by it. So one of my more anxious weekends, I had a Poirot on, an episode of Poirot, and they're so great for when you're crocheting because they're about 2 hours long. I don't know how, but and I think the episode was called Dumb Witness. I've written down here. That might not be correct. But in it, the witness was a dog, and this dog had the most gorgeous Granny Square crochet vintage blanket in his basket. And I thought to myself, my dog needs one of those. He needs one immediately. So I set to making it, and it was lovely. It soothed me the way a Granny Square always does. It made me feel calmer. The repetition just relaxes me. So, you know, out of that sort of period of anxiety there, I managed to produce something, and he hasn't had it yet because I wanted to show you, and it will be covered in dog hairs the minute because he molts something terrible. But I'll try and show you a close-up of the yarns. So I've used just lots of different Aran yarns that I already had, so it was a great stash buster. I mean, I feel that is the primary function of a Granny Square anyway, generally, is to use up leftover yarns, or traditionally I suppose they would have been. But so that is Teddy's blanket. It is just a square. I just added some repeats as and where I fancied it, colour repeats, and I tried to stick to this kind of vintagey colour palette, which I think is what had drawn me to the blanket in Poirot. So Ted now has a lovely blanket. Most of these are acrylic, so they'll be easy to wash and keep clean. I think probably the most is some of the tweedy ones are probably 20%, 25% wool, but that's machine washable anyway. So I think he's really going to love it. So one very pampered pooch there, but yeah, I just really loved it. And then I've given it so I put it on Instagram and someone said, well, you even edged it. But I looked at it and I thought, well, yeah, it's a dog blanket, it doesn't need an edge, but I just couldn't, just couldn't not put an edge on it. So he even has a little scalloped edge. So nothing fancy, just a really lovely weekend project. So yeah, so that's that. And then the other finished object, it's a bit of a cheat really. Is the jumper that I was making for my daughter. I think I told you the story about this. It's been in the whip pile for about 2 years. She wanted a festival jumper. She showed me some pictures. I mean, I'm not taking any responsibility for this colour palette or the kind of design really. She showed me a picture of a jumper, like a vintage style jumper, had granny squares and a kind of rainbow. And so I've just really made up my own version of that. I had done the front and the back, pretty similar, and I just needed to join and add the arms. Now, I can't find the original photo. She obviously sent me a photo and it's so far up my messages, I can't find the original photo. And I can't remember whether she wanted flared sleeves, long sleeves, short sleeves, and so I have just done short sleeve because I thought, well, if she wants to wear it in the summer, that would probably make sense. You know, you can always wear it with a longer t-shirt underneath. So I've just put some very short sleeves, and I've, instead of making the sleeves up, obviously if I was going to do a more fitted sleeve, I probably would have made the sleeve up first and joined it with a, I mean, it's not necessarily a problem, but it does take a bit of, you know, I like my stitches to all face the same way. And of course, when you attach a sleeve to a jumper, that happens automatically, they're all sort of facing that way. If you're making the sleeve first, you either have to make it from the short end up. I mean, generally that's how I would do it. But if I wanted the sleeves, you know, the stitches to point the same way, I would have to work from the large end down. So, and that, I mean, it's, that I could have done it, but I just was thinking, oh gosh, it's maths and working out, and I don't have her arm measurements because silly me didn't take any of her measurements. She had tried this bit on and it fit, so I just sort of thought, well, I'm on the right track. So I've left the sleeves as they are, and I thought, you know, there's not much more to do. I think I'll give it to her like this, and then I can always add to the sleeve when she's home over Christmas. So I've got a few more ends to weave in, not many, I've done most of them. And I've added a really simple single crochet neck border, just a couple of rows there. And then I'm just going to add the same to the bottom in the red. And then that's done. So I'm really, really pleased that, okay. I'm really, really pleased that I've managed to finish it because, like I said, it's been in the basket here in the office for so long, and you know, I know it's not something she's going to wear every day, but hopefully when the world opens up again, she'll be able to wear it, or maybe it'll just come out for fancy dress, I don't know. But she wanted a rainbow crochet top, and she will have one. That her mum will have made her finally. So yes, I'm calling that done. That's off the whip list. It's done. So I'm really happy with that. I still need to find the neutral one that I was making myself, but I haven't come across it as yet. What else? I think that's it for finished items. I really need to start making some Christmas bits. I mean, I've got lots of ideas, but always lots of ideas, but I don't know where the time seems to go. I really don't. Considering we all have less on, I mean, I don't have any evening activities to take the children to anymore. You know, we don't do a lot over the weekend with the lockdowns, but I don't know, this time still manages to escape me. So how are you all getting on with your Christmas whips? Are you making things for Christmas? I'm not making Christmas gifts anyway. I stopped doing that, apart from for the children, and only if they specifically ask for something. So it's not, I just like to make decorations and things really. I think just to be in the spirit of making, Christmas making, you know. So the last project I have to show you is a granny square blanket. And this is for my nephew. His birthday is coming up, and also so is Christmas. So when he was born, I asked if there was anything they would like me to make, and they wanted a furry for his bedroom in the colours that they'd done his nursery in. So I bought all these yarns over a year ago probably, definitely while she was still pregnant, and yeah, I never got around to starting it, and I knew it wasn't going to be a blanket that he would be sleeping under anyway, so there wasn't really a rush. But you know, now I'm thinking, well, that would make a lovely Christmas present, or you know, I just want him to have this blanket, this sort of chunky blanket that can be a play mat or for building dens or for picnics. So I am working my way through that. I'm doing it in the same style that I did my farmhouse blanket. So it's sort of very patchworky. So I'm joining as I go, but I'm only joining with the white squares. So I've just started joining, I wanted to have a look at the measurements really. So I started joining the squares. Lost my hook. I'm using a 6mm hook because I am working in this Simply Chunky yarn from Paintbox. I thought this was a good choice. It's 100% acrylic, which means it will go in the washing machine. It's not going to irritate. There's no wool in there at all. You know, so it's going to be gentle on his skin. So I'm working it up in that, and I think one of the colours, I think it's the lighter fawn colour, I couldn't find a colour match in that one, so that's an Aran weight yarn from a different brand, but it's worked out fine. So that's what I'm working on, and I've done a plan, and I know how many of each square. I think I'm just going to do 7 by 7, so I'm halfway there with the squares, and yeah, I think maybe for Christmas that'll be done. So if I work on that now, but of course granny square projects are so quick if you just get on and do it. So I work on that in the evenings because it's a nice easy one, and I can watch telly while I'm making granny squares. And that's it as far as whips go. I have got another couple that I've just recently started, but I haven't really got far enough to show you. And I'm still very much sort of well, we've got the book tour coming up, so I've got work to do for that, but I'm still sort of playing catch up and trying to get all the patterns that I need writing up sorted, and just organise my space again really, so that I can start the new year with some clear space, clear mind, and really just start fresh. So that's what I've been working on, and I think so that's all I've got to show you. I am working with Skillshare again, so Skillshare have kindly sponsored this part of the video. I've been working with Skillshare for a few videos now. I think this is the last one I'll be doing for them for a while anyway. So if you haven't heard me speaking of Skillshare, they are an online creative community. It's a membership community where you join. I think it's normally under $10 a month, and you have access to a sort of a library of creative classes on anything from drawing and sketching to business, and what else have we got? Well, so far I've done resin, knitting. What did I do last month? Oh, I did my Procreate, but they also do mindfulness courses on productivity, managing your time, being more efficient, and that's really what I've been looking at this month. through Skillshare. So I did a course this month, and it was, I've got the name of it written down because, as you know, my memory is terrible these days. The course that I took was called Personal Productivity, 5 Exercises to Make Your Big Goal a Reality. So I watched one of Lindsay's from Lottie and Albert's podcasts a while ago. Well, not too long, probably a few weeks ago. Anyway, she was talking about time blocking. And I think one of the issues I've had, especially since I finished writing the book, is I've been a bit lost, and I'm all over the place, and I'm not getting as much as I would like done. And I think it's because on the days when I'm at home and I'm working from home, I'm just kind of drifting. I'm not a bit overwhelmed by everything. So I really wanted to do a class that would help me. I think Lindsay mentioned time blocking, and she said that she'd found that quite useful. So I was searching for a productivity, really anything to help me with that. But the first course I came across was this one, and actually it was really good. So it's 5 different exercises. The whole course was class was under an hour. And it sort of worked around these 5 worksheets that you can download and fill in. Worksheet 1 was define your zone of genius, and that was really, really good. I have filled these in. I've brought some blank ones up to show you. But what she was sort of explaining is that you've got your passion here and what you're good at, and where they overlap is your zone of genius. You know, that's where the magic can happen. So that was really interesting. And then what was most useful for me was this inventory of your internal resources. So here's I don't know if you can see this. So here's the workshop, and you just go through and you tick. So there's 3 categories: emotional, which covers things like you feel valued and appreciated, you are reliant on yourself for positive reinforcement. Then intellectual, again, things like you invest time in learning, and then you've got the physical, which is you have free time, you have a set bedtime, you prioritize light activity, and then you sort of score yourself, and you can see where your weaknesses and strengths are. And you know, actually with the emotional side of things, I scored myself 9 out of 10, and I think the reason I've been so good at that, and you know, I've really worked on that side of things over the past few years. I've really put my mental health at the forefront of everything that I do. I'm always evaluating, how am I feeling? How is this making me feel? So I'm very careful. I try really hard not to compare, not to, you know, so I am aware of my emotional needs, and I feel like I've got very good boundaries now, if, you know, about taking time off, stepping away from things. I'm just going to stop the camera and restart. Yes, but where I found I was lacking was the physical side. For example, I don't prioritise activity. I don't have a track record of holding myself accountable. That's half of the problem. I have all these goals and ideas, and I never go back to them. I don't revisit them. I don't check that I'm on track, and you know, I miss opportunities because of that, really. So you write down, and then it says, you know, okay, so put 5 goals, and what steps are you going to take to help you get over that. So for example, I put setting goals. I need to maybe set monthly or weekly goals, and you know, to be accountable, I need to regularly go back. I need to make time at the end of the week to go back over those goals and say, you know, what have I done to achieve that? Something small towards that. And it, you know, basically the aim of the course is to say, if you've got this big idea, if you want to write a book, or you want to do a series of crochet patterns, or you know, you can make time for that. You have to prioritize that time. So you need to hold yourself accountable. So you need to say, okay, I am going to write for half an hour every day, my crochet book, or I am going to, you know, try and design crochet patterns every day for half an hour. And you need to block out that time and hold yourself accountable. So at the end of that week, you can say, oh, I've done that, or yeah, no, I haven't, and I need to sort that out. So It was a really useful course, really clear. I will put the links below to the class and some other productivity and time management classes that I have done through Skillshare this month, because I have found them to be so useful, and I have come away with, you know, not only some physical things that I can look back on to remind myself, but also, you know, ways to manage my time. So to make sure that I am getting the most out of my working day, being as productive as I can be, really, or as I want to be. That's the thing. You know, sometimes I think for people like me, who I have been focusing on my my health, I've almost gone too far the opposite way. Whereas some people, I think maybe they need to work more on taking time off and, you know, putting time for themselves in and making sure they get time to have a proper, you know, proper break and a step away from things. I definitely need more help with being organised. Yeah, I think, and giving my day a bit of structure so that I can achieve the things that I want to achieve. So yes. So yeah, that's what I've been doing this month for Skillshare. And you know, I've really enjoyed the classes that I've taken. I've spoke about them quite a lot now in the other videos. So as before, Skillshare have very kindly offered the first 1,000 people to click the link in my description box below a free trial of Skillshare Premium. So that's all their content, all their classes, all their expertise. And yeah, like I said, I've really enjoyed it. I definitely will continue to use it. I feel like I've learned so much, you know, not just in terms of creative things, but actually things that are going to be useful for me going forward. And I've been able to do that in my own time, you know, and it as and when fits around everything else I've got on. So there's been no pressure, no, you've got to complete this by this day. You know, you really can move at your own pace, which that's the sort of class that I I like anyway. So on to some new things. So I will show you this first. So I did buy some yarn. I've been trying really hard not to buy yarn unless I've needed it for specific projects, but the lovely Claire from Mr. and Mrs. Rabbit Hand Dyed Yarns had a sale on, and she had yarns called Pumpkin Patch. So I couldn't help myself, but I've left it all in here because I just wanted to show you how lovely everything in there looks together. I mean, we've got a hand painted note, postcard. Look at this, Lulu loved this. Origami heart. Love that. Another one of her little rabbit stitch markers. Tea bag. Wild berry infusion. Another lavender bag. You can never have too many of those. Put that in there actually. And then some chocolates. And what's all that is actually? Oh, it's a. Oh, I've just dropped a chocolate. It's another stitch marker. That's really pretty. Look at that. That's lovely. I definitely didn't order that, so I think Claire's popped that in extra. That's really lovely. I don't know if maybe she sells those on her website. We'll have to have a look. I'll have a look and I'll link them if I find them. It's like a little shell. That's really pretty. Thank you, Claire. Love that. Anyway, let me get on to the yarns. So I think this was a mini set, although they look. I think some of them she's put extra yarn in. And it was, it's high twist merino sock yarn, 75% extra fine, superwash merino, 25% nylon. I'm pretty sure the set was called Pumpkin Patch. But look at these colours. That's lovely, isn't it? Now, as you know, I started a mini skein blanket, I think maybe at the beginning of the year, and I've been continuing to work on it. maybe I'll show you that next time. Actually, I haven't started joining. I'm still just making the squares. So I thought these would go really, really well in there because they'll remind me of autumn. It's my favourite time of year. Well, I mean, I say that about every season. I do love spring. I mean, I love summer if it's a nice summer, and winter. So let's have an appreciation for all the seasons. Anyway, that's lovely. Look at that, it's glorious. That really does look like pumpkins. And this one, I don't think they've got individual colours. That's lovely as well, isn't it? Did I show you that green one? I think I did. Yeah, they're just really beautiful. So they are going to look so lovely in my blanket. And some lovely chocolates. Some tiny little chocolates were in there as well. So I did buy that, like I said, but she had a sale on, so I couldn't resist really. And then the other new thing I've bought this month was a new crochet book. I bought the Hook Nook book, which is Jessica Carey, and this one's Making with Meaning. More than 20 meditative and creative crochet projects. I might do a separate review of this up on the blog if I get time. You can have a look there. Now, I really love Jessica's work. I like its simplicity, and I like that I feel like I can achieve any project that she makes. I just really like her style, and I think she's done so well in marketing and building her brand that really I just wanted to support her. But some of these projects are gorgeous. Look at that. That's one of the projects with that lovely kind of chenille yarn, velvet yarn. It's so beautiful. I think it would be a really lovely gift for anyone who loves crochet. I think, I will try and make some of the projects up when I've got time. She's got photos step-by-steps as well on the basic stitches. I definitely think it's a good book if you are new to crochet, because a lot of the projects use chunky yarns, and I think when you're starting it's just so much easier. And she's got these lovely step-by-step photos. I mean, look at that. It's gorgeous. And again, the top is very much my style of garments. It's just so easy that you don't feel intimidated by it. And I think that's the point of the book, really, because actually these projects are supposed to be meditative. They're supposed to, make you feel calm and, escape your worries, really. And what I also like about this book is that Jessica really shares her journey, about her mental health and the lessons that she's learned, perspective, mindfulness. I mean, the titles themselves, the healing blanket scarf. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's the same thing as the blanket I made for Ted. It's that same. It's using crochet to help you, to calm you, to focus your mind. And she's got, really, really lovely little stories. So I really like that about it. It's more than a crochet book, I think. So there are some, there's lots of text as well as the lovely projects, and some challenges about mindfulness and perspective. And I really like that. I think it just gives something different to the book. I think most of us makers, know that about crochet. So it's nice to see it in a book. So I think that was a really lovely take on it. So I'm definitely pleased that I've got that to add to my collection. I think that's one of my favourite projects as well, the bag. But she's also got like a perfectly project that's not supposed to be perfect. I can't remember what she called it. Did she call it perfectly? Yeah, perfectly imperfect blanket. I think that must be the one on the cover. She designed something that she knew could never be perfect, and I just love that. So yes, if you're new to crochet, if you know someone who's new to crochet, that is definitely a book that I would go for. I mean, even if you're not new, you'll probably love that. So that's that. And what time are we on? Still got a bit of time. So I will talk you through some books that I've been reading. I finished The Invisible Girl by Lisa Jewell. I read The Family Upstairs by her. Really enjoyed it. This one I did not enjoy as much. It is a thriller. It's about a young girl that goes missing, and how the strange lonely man across the road gets blamed for it. I liked it, and I did fly through it, but I was kind of disappointed by the end. I won't lie. So yeah, read some reviews if you're interested in that. Yeah, it was a quick read. Like I said, I did enjoy it, and I flew through it. So yeah, I was a bit disappointed. I felt the end was a bit of a cop out, really. And then the other book I've been reading, interestingly, was The Life of Stuff. I just finished this, and I took this one out from the library. I find when my mind is overworked, I can't read fiction. I don't know why, I just can't. So I picked up this. This is a memoir about the mess we leave behind. This is by Susanna Walker, and it is written about her mum, who, when she passed away, her daughter and her son as adults had to clear out her house, and she was a hoarder basically. Her house was falling apart from neglect, and it was just, you know, chock-a-block full of things, and yet her mum still turned up for her job. She volunteered in a shop and was well groomed. So it was really about how that had happened and the relationship she had with her mum. And her mum and dad had separated when she was very young, and her dad had got full custody of her and her brother. So her mum was quite a distant character for a while, and was in and out of her life. And it really is, I suppose, she sort of tries to get to know her mum through her belongings and the things she left behind. And it is really interesting. And I read some reviews about this on Goodreads, and a lot of people said, you know, it was great for the first half, and the second half I was just really bored. And I will say that towards the middle, it got a bit repetitive. But actually, when I got past that, there was some really insightful bits towards the end of the book. So I am glad that I persevered and moved through it. But yes, it is really about how she reconciles her mum's death through the clearing of the house, the process of clearing out hoards and hoards of stuff. And, you know, sort of she talks about things that hadn't been hoarded. She sort of says, you know, for all this, I know that I wrote my mum all these letters and I never found them. And, you know, little things like that, really. And how the traits of hoarding, and how she has all these traits, but actually she's not a hoarder, but how she could easily be a hoarder. And I think it is quite interesting. If you've dealt with, you know, trauma or loss earlier on, I think it resonated with me because I like my things. I don't like to think that I'm very materialistic, but I do like my things. And I think that stems from my teenage years, moving around a lot and always losing my belongings, you know, leaving boxes in this boyfriend's attic, or like, you know, this friend's house. Or so I feel like I lost a lot of belongings from, you know, after my parents divorced, and it just really resonated with me. I just found it really interesting because I do like my things around me. And, you know, those books the sort of the Marie Kondo books, you know, like, you have to look at something and you have to love it, or it has to be useful. If not, you can get rid of it. I find it so hard to get rid of things because I do attach meaning to everything. We bought that when we were on holiday, or we bought that when we went here for the day, or, you know, the children gave me that, or, you know, so I think I definitely could easily become a hoarder. So I'm going to have to be careful. I mean, I do have periods where I think I've had enough of it all and I will just be ruthless. So I'm hoping there's hope for me. But yes, it definitely resonated with me, and I actually really enjoyed it, and I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. I think it had about a 3.5-star rating, and I think that's probably because I could identify with her a bit. So, you know, might be for you, might not be for you. I just thought it was a really interesting subject matter, really. And that is it. Oh, I've just started. Oh, really. I've just started this, which I've had since the summer, American Dirt. I started this last night, actually. Only 50 pages in. I'm already hooked. Let me know if you've read this. Yeah, so I'll let you know more about that. But I'm definitely been sucked in. And that is it, really. For TV, I have been watching season 2 of The Alienist. If you watched season 1, you'll love it. I think it focuses more on the other characters and sort of development, and it's very dark subject matter. So just be warned if you maybe read up on it before, because it's dark, and but it's the best thing I've watched recently. I did watch Bly Manor, The Haunting of Bly Manor. I enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it as much as the first series, and I felt like it went on a bit too long, if I'm honest, the story. But I definitely enjoyed watching that. What else? I think that's about it, really. I think I've seen lots of recommendations for The Queen's Gambit, so I've got that on my list to watch next. So hopefully I'll get started on that, because that's supposed to be really good. I think that's on Netflix as well. And that's it, really. So I think that's everything I've got to say for this episode. I haven't missed anything out, but I will be back soon with another episode. I think, well, it'll probably be the book video next, so I'll show you the book projects. I think that'd be a really nice video to do. Well, nice for me anyway. Maybe not nice for you. So hopefully I'll get that filmed in the next couple of weeks. So I hope you're all well, and staying safe, and looking after yourself, and being kind to yourself. I will see you soon. Take care.